All right, we got about is this on? We got about a minute to go. I want to make sure we start on time. What? I know. Look at the crowds. It's all right. All right, are we good to go? All right. Everybody ready? Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call the hearing, to open the hearing. This is the Litchfield Budget Committee. We are having hearings tonight on both the school district budget and the town budget. And first off, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is over here on my right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Just start off with some introductions. My name is Cindy Couture. I'm the chair. I have Kerry Douglas, who is vice chair, on the end over here. Andrew Cutter, Chris Piscucci could not be with us tonight. Dennis Miller, Jen Bork, Bob Keating. The selectmen's representative is Kevin Bork. And from the school board, we had a shared team of Paula Isbicki and Christina Harrison. We received the school budget in November. We had the superintendent and business administrator come to our meeting and talk about what the priorities of the district are in the coming year. We then spent 5 meetings going line by line over the budget, looking at every dollar, every justification. We had the various principals and department heads come in when their budget was presented so that they could provide answers to questions that we may have had. We did vote on what warrants were available and the final budget on December 22nd. And tonight, after the hearing, we'll be finalizing those votes based on input here tonight. How we make our decisions, we look at typically 3 years average spending. We do look at the educational priorities that are presented by the professionals in the district. We look at the actual spending of the current year. We look at student enrollment projections. We look at the rationale for why the money is being requested. And then we also have to consider what's a reasonable budget to present to the taxpayers. So the budget as presented to the budget committee by the school board was $731,493 more than last year's approved budget. Projected revenues were down slightly, about 0.5%. Enrollment continues to decline. It's about 7 or 8 students next year. Since about 2010, we've seen about 268 students decline. The biggest decline next year is in the middle school, with a slight increase at the elementary and a slight increase at the high school. The budget committee then went through its process and at the end result ended up with reductions of $549,110. This recommended budget is $182,383 more than last year's approved budget. And that's a projected slightly less than 1% increase and a tax impact of about 30 cents. And the default budget comes in at $3,637 less. So we came very close to the default budget. This is just what the warrant article looks like. It is recommended at this point when the presentation was prepared. The school board had not voted yet. They did vote last night and they support the budget 5-0-0. Budget committee voted and recommends it with a 4-3-1 vote. Some of the areas that had a major impact on the budget, health insurance increases, that seems to be going around. Our healthcare provider is called School Care. It increased about 9.5%. That would be $193,695. New Hampshire retirement, both on the town side and the school side, increased. Rate for both the employees and teachers, $149,917. Transportation, the $24,670 is just the contractual increase for the coming year. Technology services was up $137,205. And this is due to a replacement of some computers at the 3 schools, new programs such as a one-to-one program at the high school, STEM, due to curriculum changes, there's a lot of science, technology, engineering, and math. So there's a big emphasis now on computer literacy. So that is one of the district's priorities. That is the cause of that increase. Special services, our special education program, $104,660. That is after taking into account there is a reduction in handicap tuition of a little over $99,000. This just is a graph that shows you the original budget as presented by the school board. It shows the reductions made to each of the sections of the budget and what the budget committee's revised bottom line is. So what did the budget committee do? Special services, $970 reduction. Although the budget committee traditionally reduces special education by a historical underspend, the motions to do that this year failed. So there was basically the only reductions were to small areas where there are discrepancies perhaps in like computer purchases and shipping and handling kinds of things. Building and grounds, $51,500 reduction there was proposed to be a utility van that the school district wanted to use around the to be able to transport tools and stuff between the 3 buildings and do some of their own internal repairs. It's about prioritizing some of those repairs and delaying some of those repairs because currently there's a building-wide review being done by the school district, taking a look at the infrastructure at all 3 of their schools. Our 3 schools had very small reduction. Primarily that was a program called Destination Imagination. Parents, the school district took it under its wing and brought it in as a school program, and parents asked that it remain an independent program, so that was a reduction that the school district and the budget committee both agreed to. Salaries and benefits is where there was a large reduction. A lot of that had to do with the superintendent is going to be staying on another year, so that a full-time, he works part-time hours, so the budget had originally called for full-time hours and benefits for the search for a new superintendent, so there's a reduction there. And then the budget committee took a look at attrition and what the typical underspend is in salaries and benefits over the years. And based on looking at those numbers, came up with a $300,000 reduction. Conferences and travel, $25,000 reduction. That's just based on historical spending. That was it for the main budget. The Article 2, to see if the Litchfield School District will vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Litchfield School District and the Litchfield Education Association, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits at the current staffing levels. So these estimates are for 2017-18 year budget year, $282,018. For the 2018-19 year, $293,644. And to further raise and appropriate the sum of $282,018 for fiscal year 2018, such sum representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at the current staffing levels. This has an estimated tax impact of 32 cents. This is recommended by the school board. The budget committee received the contract at its last meeting and has not had a chance to vote on it yet. This is one of the items we will be voting on after tonight's hearing. Article 3, shall the Litchfield School District vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Litchfield School District and the Litchfield Support Staff Association, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits at the current staffing level. Year 2017-18, estimated increase of $62,787. 2018-19, $57,662. And to further raise and appropriate the sum of $62,787 for fiscal year 2018, such sums representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would have been paid at the current staffing levels. Estimated tax impact is 7 cents. This is recommended by the school board, and this is a new contract that the budget committee has seen for the first time tonight, so this is one we'll be voting on. This is a brand new bargaining unit that just came into creation in the last year. This covers the employees in the classifications of administrative assistants, receptionists, instructional paraprofessionals, and student assistants, food service leads, food service technicians, lunch monitors, library monitors, lead custodians, and ground maintenance employees. And where this was brand new, they were creating a document from beginning to end, outlining everything from classifications to working environment to disciplinary to salary to vacation. So this is a very comprehensive look that they took this past fall and created this document. Article 4, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $92,885 to be added to the operating budget for the purpose of funding salary and benefits for a full-time Special Services Coordinator position to support the Special Services Director and Special Services Department. Estimated tax impact 10 cents, is recommended by the school board 500 and is recommended by the budget committee 800. This is one of the top priorities of the school district. Right now, we have a significant number of special education students that require a significant number of meetings. When those meetings happen, you have to pull out principals, you have to pull out staff to attend those meetings, and to make sure you have somebody coordinating and overseeing all of the very important details that go on. So this position is crucial in making sure that all of that happens smoothly and accurately for the special education students. Article 5, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $61,645 to purchase security equipment and products to enhance safety and security for the main entrances to Griffin Memorial School, Litchfield Middle School, and Campbell High School, and modular classrooms at Griffin Memorial School and Litchfield Middle School, as recommended by the New Hampshire Department of Homeland Security. Estimated tax impact of 7 cents. This is supported 500 by the school board and 800 by the budget committee. These are important safety features that we need to make sure that our most vulnerable assets in the community are protected. Article 6, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate up to $100,000 to be added to the Special Education Capital Reserve Fund established in 2004 and authorize the use of that amount from the June 30th unreserved fund balance available for transfer on July 1 of this year, and to designate the school board as agents to expend. This is a special warrant article. The estimated tax impact is 0 because it would come from any unexpended funds at the end of the current fiscal year. The balance as of June 30th, 2016 was $104,210.10. Is recommended by a school board vote of 410. It is not recommended by the budget committee due to a tie vote. Committee members felt that each year, for most years in that anybody can remember, there's been a significant amount of funds unexpended in special services. And it was felt that these historically available funds are enough of a buffer that any unexpected students would be able to be serviced with those typically available funds. The fact that there's over $100,000 in there also adds a little bit of a cushion for any of those unanticipated students entering the district mid-year. Article 7, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate up to $50,000 to be added to the Building Maintenance Capital Reserve Fund established in 2004 and authorize the use of that amount from the June 30 unreserved fund balance available for transfer on July 1 of this year, and to designate the school board as agents to expend. This is a special warrant article. Estimated tax impact is 0. Again, this would be funds, unexpended funds at the end of the current year. And the balance in that account as of June 30th, 2016 is $51,007.69. This is recommended by the school board 500, and it is recommended by the budget committee 710. This is for, as our buildings age, we have systems that can go down unexpectedly during the school year, so this is felt that it is important to build up this fund for catastrophic failure of any of the building systems. Article 8, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate up to $25,000 to be added to the Technology Capital Reserve Fund established in 2016 for the purpose of funding the acquisition and replacement of hardware, software, and other technology equipment, and authorize the use of that amount from the June 30, 2016 unreserved fund balance available for transfer on July 1 of this year, and to designate the school board as agents to expend. This is a special warrant article. Estimated tax impact is 0. Balance of the fund as of July 1, 2016 is $50,000. It is recommended by the school board 500. It is not recommended by the budget committee 170. After listening to some of the infrastructure that may potentially fail during the school year, the budget committee felt that there was sufficient money already in the fund that could cover even the most expensive types of infrastructure failure, so they felt that was not called for at this time. So just to look at the tax impact, and this is one of those eye tests. There's a couple more coming up, but I will read it for you. The current tax rate is $13.98. The projected budget committee budget, based on the revenues and the voted on budget as it stands right now, would add 30 cents to that current tax rate, bringing the new tax rate to $14.16. Warrant Article 2, which is, I gotta use my memory now, is the teacher's contract, would add 32 cents. Warrant Article 3, which is the support staff, adds 7 cents. Warrant Article 4, which is the special education position, would add 10 cents. And then Warrant Article 5, which is the security measures, would add 7 cents. So those are the articles that the Budget Committee has voted on, and that would bring the total increase to 86 cents. So based on that information, that would be just the budget itself would see an impact of a $105,000 increase on a house valued at $350,000. If all the recommended articles pass, that 86 cents total would be estimated at a $300 increase on a house valued at $350,000. And that is a run-through of all of the information we have. So at this point, I will be happy to take any comments or questions that you may have. Excuse me, $105 increase, not $105,000. Thank you. This is another eye chart. This is just all the calculations for how we came up with the taxation and how we came up with the various cost items. If there is no input, we will move on to the town. All right, moving into the town portion of the hearing. I don't know if we want to do a chair swap. Obviously the members are all the same, with one difference. During the town discussions, we had Brian Bork as the school board representative to the budget committee. We follow very much the same pattern. We received the budget on September 29th. We spent 5 meetings in the month of October going over line by line all of the departments of the budget. We had information presented by the Board of Selectmen's representative, the town business administrator, and we also had department heads come in and answer questions and that we may have had. We did make some final votes on December 15th, and as well on the budget, as well as on any warrant articles that were available on December 15th. Same criteria. We look at 3 years of historical spending and look at the current year-to-date actual spending. We look at why these things are being requested in the budget. We consider what's a reasonable budget to present to the community. And this year we had something different. Last year the community supported the tax cap warrant article. And although there was some technical things that didn't happen, so it needs to be revoted this year, the budget committee decided to abide by the tax cap and have this be sort of our trial run year to see how it went. So that meant, just to remind you, that means that that the proposed budget, and that includes all warrant articles, could not be more than $175,000 greater than last year's approved budget after revenues. So you do take into account revenues. So it was an interesting exercise. The Selectmen's proposed 2017 budget is $5,856,995, which is just under $500,000 more than last year's approved budget. Budget committee made reductions of a little over $100,000, and that leaves now a difference between the budget committee's proposed number and the default budget of $68,811. The budget committee's proposed budget is a 43-cent decrease per $1,000 on the tax rate due to the changes in revenue and changes in town valuation. This is just the wordage of the operating budget. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400. It is recommended by the Budget Committee 630. So again, this is going to result in a reduction in the tax rate if this passes, and it's the only thing that passes. The default budget actually is another 8 cents reduction. So what are the things that are in the operating budget that had an impact? Health insurance actually increased significantly, 20.79%, which is about an $88,000 increase over what our health care costs were last year. Police administration was up significantly, but that is due to the fact that the police article last year, the police union contract passed last year. So all of those increases that were in the warrant article are now added to the budget due to the approval of the community. There were also increases in the police budget due to there's an officer being deployed, so we need to cover that officer that's being deployed. We need increased training. There's been obviously some increases in crime, especially we're sandwiched between two major communities, and the opiate crisis we're seeing also has an effect on little old Litchfield as we see people coming to town looking for ways to fund their addictions. Personnel administration, $56,406 increase. Again, as I mentioned with the retirement on the school district budget, this is state retirement increases for the municipal employees, for fire and police, and the wage plan that was increase that was approved by the voters last year. As you may or may not recall, there is a 3-year plan that the selectmen have been trying to implement year at a time. So this accounts for, and last year was $30,000, and so this is part of that that was voted in last year. Road maintenance, an increase in road salt, $22,044. Fire department, there's a $40,000 increase due to replacing the base dispatch radio that is housed in Hudson but used by Litchfield. Solid waste administration, there's an increase in demolition costs, $10,447. Parks and recreation, $5,500 increase. We have some increased field maintenance. We do have some decreases. The planning board has a decrease of a little over $14,000 due to a decrease in the administrative assistance hours. Welfare administration, we've had lower historical usage of the welfare account. And general governmental buildings, there's a $6,573 decrease due to the reduction in the cost of gas and propane. Article 6, full-time police officer. To see if the town will vote to hire a full-time police officer effective July 1, 2017 at an annual salary and related costs of $86,047, and further vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $39,055 for wages and benefits for the period of July 1, 2017 to December 31, 2017. Estimated 2017 tax rate impact is 4 cents. So this is a full-time officer. The wages are laid out for 2017 and 2018. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 500 and is recommended by the Budget Committee 900. This is the highest priority right now for the town as we try to move closer to having 2 officers on duty at all time. As I mentioned before, we've seen an increase in crimes around us, and it has impacted Litchfield as well. And so this will help not only the security of the officers who respond, but obviously the citizens of the town of Litchfield. Article 7, road improvement projects. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $200,000 for the purpose of road improvement projects. It is anticipated that these funds will be used toward the cost of repairs to Roberts Way, Underwood Drive, Hildreth Drive, Whittemore Drive, Nathan Drive, Gibson Drive, McQuestion Circle, Parker Circle, and other roads as necessary. Estimated 2017 tax rate impact is 23 cents. It is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 320. It is recommended by the Budget Committee 540. Every year we receive block grant money, which goes to upkeep our roads. There is a report that shows that we have about an $8 million plan of roads that need to be updated. And so the selectmen every year have been adding a warrant article for $200,000 to try to accelerate some of those repairs. These roads here are roads that are targeted because they're over 25 years old, and some of them are in very serious need of repair. So Given the tightness of the budget this year and the expenses that are already included in the budget, it was a close vote by the Budget Committee. The discussion was around, is this a year to maybe put a smaller amount in there? The cost of tar is actually down, so the hope is that this $200,000 will actually be able to be used, spread further than typically, and we might be able to tackle a few more projects than we're normally able to do. So it is ultimately supported by both the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee. Article 8, second year of the library non-union wage plan implementation. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,186 to fund salary adjustments to bring library employee salaries in line with the non-union employee wage plan as approved by the Library Board of Trustees in 2015. This article represents the second year of a 3-year implementation plan. Estimated 2017 tax rate impact is 1 cent. It is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400 and recommended by the Budget Committee 900. Much as the Selectmen have a 3-year plan to bring non-union wages up on par with surrounding communities, the library has also undertaken that same goal of trying to bring their non-union wages up to par. So this is year 2 of their effort. It did pass last year. Year 1 did pass. Article 9, Library Earned Time Accrual Expendable Trust Fund, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to be placed in the Library Earned Time Accrual Expendable Trust Fund as previously established. It was estimated that the 2017 tax rate impact is 1 cent. It is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400 and recommended by the Budget Committee 810. This is accounts that are created so that you have liabilities in case of retirement or vacation time that accrues that build up outside of a budget year, and this allows you to plan ahead for those expenses that arise outside of your budget. This is the Town Earned Time Accrual Expendable Trust Fund, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,000 to be placed in the Earned Time Accrual Expendable Trust Fund as previously established. This sum to come from the unassigned fund balance and no amount to be raised from taxation. The estimated 2017 tax rate impact is 0. It is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 500 and recommended by the Budget Committee 900. Again, these are liabilities that the town has for the employees who have accrued, whether it be earned time, whether it be sick time, whether it be retirement, and this is a way to plan ahead for those expenses. Human Services and Health Agencies, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,400 to support the requests of Human Services and Health Agencies included, but not limited to, St. Joseph Community Services, Meals on Wheels, $1,600, Big Brothers Big Sisters, $500, Bridges Domestic Violence, $300, Home Health and Hospice Care, 0, Greater Nashville Mental Health Center, 0, Lamprey Health Care, 0, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, 0, American Red Cross, 0. Estimated 2017 tax rate impact of 1 cent. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 320. It is not recommended by the Budget Committee 450. These are agencies that have a direct impact and provide services to the community of Litchfield, and they do it free of charge. However, they do it free of charge because of voluntary donation and payments from communities, and the committee was split on this. Although while people appreciated the fact that it was on a warrant article, all of these agencies send a letter explaining what their costs would be and asking for a specific amount. The selectmen did not put those amounts on here. They put a few of them on here, and some members of the Budget Committee were concerned that this did not give the voters the choice that they have previously been given. Article 12, Fire Vehicle and Equipment Repair Expendable Trust Fund, to see if the town will vote to establish a fire vehicle and equipment repair expendable trust fund pursuant to RSA 31:19A for unanticipated repairs greater than $5,000 for fire vehicles and equipment, and to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be placed in said fund. Further, to name the Board of Selectmen as agents to expend from said fund. The primary purpose of this article is to create an expendable trust fund for the fire department vehicle and equipment repair. Defeat of this article will not bar expenditures for repairs to fire department equipment and vehicles. The estimated tax rate impact is 6 cents. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 500, and the Budget Committee has not reviewed this article yet. Our fire equipment is aging. Repairs can be costly and significant, and this is a way to plan ahead and set a little bit of aside so that in the event of a failure of one of the vehicles, the money is there to quickly get it back on track. Article 13, Architectural and Engineering Fees for the new fire station, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $66,000 for the purpose of funding architectural and engineering services to revise and update existing building and site plans for the future construction of a new fire station at Liberty Way. This sum to come from the unassigned fund balance and no amount to be raised from taxation. It is anticipated that an additional $34,000 shall be spent from the fire station and municipal office impact fee accounts for this purpose. Estimated 2017 tax rate impact is 0. Is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400, and this has not been reviewed yet by the Budget Committee. Article 14, non-lapsing appropriation, to see if the town will vote to revoke the non-lapsing provisions of Article 8 from the 2016 town meeting, which raised and appropriated $37,600 for expenses associated with training one full-time firefighter as a paramedic. As the funds are no longer needed for this purpose, this will allow the funds to lapse into the general fund where they will be available for use for tax relief by the Selectmen in 2017. Estimated 2017 tax rate impact is 0, recommended by the Board of Selectmen 500, and it has not been reviewed by the Budget Committee yet. This is an article that passed last year. It ended up that we were able to fill the position with a person who was already trained as an EMT, so these funds are not needed, and this will return it to the general fund. Tax cap, I just put this here for information. Again, due to some technical difficulties last year, it was non-binding. Shall we adopt the provisions of RSA 32:5B and implement a tax cap whereby the Budget Committee shall not submit a recommended budget that increases the amount to be raised by local taxes based on prior fiscal year's actual amount of local taxes raised by more than $175,000. The 3/5 vote required is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 410. The last item also does not have a Budget Committee, the need of the Budget Committee to weigh in on this. I just put it up for information. To see if the town will vote to adopt the provisions of RSA 72:28B, all veterans tax credit. If adopted, the credit will be available to any resident or spouse or surviving spouse of any resident who, 1, served not less than 90 days on active service in the Armed Forces of the United States and was honorably discharged, or an officer honorably separated from service and is not eligible for or receiving a credit under RSA 72:28 or RSA 72:35. If adopted, the credit granted will be $300, the same amount as the standard or optional veterans tax credit voted by the town under RSA 72:28, and is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 500. Another one of those eye tests. This is just shows the tax cap calculation, and the budget that is recommended by the Budget Committee is $1 under the tax cap, and the default budget is $16,412 below the tax cap. The summary of the tax impact of all of the articles, as I said, the operating budget is actually a decrease. After you add in all of the warrant articles, the tax impact is a decrease of 8 cents. Current rate is $4.04. An 8-cent decrease would be a new rate of $3.96, which would be a $28 decrease to a house valued at $350. And at this time, we'll take any questions or comments. And again, just a sheet that shows the calculations. If there are no questions, I will then move to close the hearing, and the Budget Committee will be meeting in the room next door and holding a meeting to make our final decisions on this budget. So, thank you.